Hi, my name is Keelan Biancourt, and today I'll be discussing the different viewpoints of mass media. This is the social change model I use to address my issue and formulate a plan. As you can see, there are three parts of this social change model. The first being needs assessment, second is a program development, and the third is evolution. To start off with, what is the issue? The issue is, in today's world, if you look hard enough, you can find opposing views on virtually any subject. This is directly related to how reliable and accurate is information we receive using mass media. Many believe this isn't an issue because of the First Amendment, but there can be underlying motivations behind what we hear from news medias. Chapter 4.4 of the textbook states, the New York Times has continually been accused of determining what stories are told. For example, during the 1993 debate over the North American Free Trade Agreement, the New York Times clearly supported the agreement. In doing so, the newspaper exercised editorial control over its publication and the information that went out to its readers. So why do we need change? There are a couple of reasons. The main reason being, how are people supposed to determine what information is based on facts and what is opinion? Another reason is that anyone could put information out there on the internet, and because of this, there is false information out there somewhere. The third reason is most news outlets are biased or can have personal agendas. I don't believe there's any news outlet out there that isn't leaning left or right. According to Chapter 2.4 of the textbook, making it difficult to tell if the media is responding to public desire for coverage of an issue or if it is pushing an issue on its own agenda. The fourth reason is a follow-up of the third, being that due to these news outlets having different viewpoints, it causes confusion to the general public. The last issue, which also builds off this, is that if one person reads something from one news outlet and another person reads something that is contradictory to that article, they both think they're correct, and that causes strife between social groups. Now that you know why this is such a big issue, here is my thesis. All media should be censored by an independent organization that strives to weed out false information from mainstream news outlets. As of right now, what resources do we have that censor news media outlets? The only censorship we have right now is the editors working for the news media outlets themselves. According to Chapter 4.4 in the textbook, editors work with journalists to verify sources and double-check facts so readers are provided with accurate information. But since they work for the company, they themselves cannot be considered completely unbiased. What problem can we address and what are the goals? The first step to my solution is to start up an independent watchdog organization. Their sole purpose would be to vet news articles to determine if they are factual. If a mainstream media source wants to be seen as credible, they need to participate in the vetting process. Now, I'm not saying that no one can have an opinion, but it needs to be stated as such and not construed as facts. From ABC News, the leaders of New Zealand and France are backing a watchdog organization aimed at keeping internet platforms from being used by extremists and preparing speedy responses to future attacks. The next part of the social change diagram is the program design. To fund this organization, each participating news outlet has to pay based on equity on revenue sales and number of subscribers. By doing so, they receive an authentic stamp of approval to place at the bottom of the article. The watchdog organization will also protect whistleblowers and guarantee their identities will not be revealed. Some companies have previously used artificial intelligence to censor online information, but it has not been very accurate in doing the job. For example, from Reuters, but those AI-enabled tools risk confusing human rights and historical documentation like Razzouk's videos with problematic material with like terrorist content, particularly in war-torn countries like Syria and Yemen. Digital rights activists warned, AI is notoriously context-blind. Lastly, how will we accurately measure success? After some thought, I decided that tracking how many defamation lawsuits there are versus prior year would give us an idea of whether this is working. According to an article from The Independent in the UK, the number of defamation actions resulting from articles published by traditional media has also increased by 85%, and the total cases, including those brought against businesses, has climbed to 81% in a year. These numbers are prior to any significant watchdog organization and will be used in comparison to the statistics gathered after the organization has been established. This is my reference page. Thank you for your time.